وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Inshallah, today we'll be starting from the beginning of Surah A'raf, which is the second half of the 8th juz, and we'll be finishing till the third quarter, end of the third quarter of the 9th juz, which will bring us to the end of Surah A'raf. So today we'll be doing the whole surah, inshallah, complete. And tomorrow we'll be starting from Surah Anfal. In the beginning of Surah A'raf, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes mention of an incident. He re-mentions the incident from the first juz. In the first juz, he talks about the interaction between shaitan and Adam alayhi salam, and what happened with Adam and Hawa alayhi salatu wassalam. But of course, on the first day we were talking about different things, so we didn't get a chance to go over that. So inshallah, we'll look at it a little bit over here. Of course, the story itself, I would love to go through the whole thing. It's a very beautiful story, a lot of lessons, a lot of reminders, right? And there's a lot of detail. But just one, I could only take one point in the 5-7 minutes that we had. We look at Shaitan, Iblis, and look at who he was before and what he became. Before, he was known as the Ta'us al-Malaika. He was known of, he was like the peacock. Out of all the angels, Ta'us means peacock. You know when you have a bunch of birds sitting together and then you have the peacock just stands out. Similarly, with Iblis, he stood out because of his wisdom, because of his knowledge. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had really blessed him. Narrations mention that there's not one place in the universe or on this earth that shaitan didn't do sajda. Now, a person like that, how could he go wrong? Right? That's the question that we have to ask. That what happened? And there is this sickness, there's this disease, there is this thing that comes within us when we, and we don't know when it can happen, and we don't know, and the danger of this sickness is that even after we're affected by it, we don't realize it. If you get sick or something happens, and you know what the problem is, or you know that there's a problem, you can start looking for the solution. But when you don't think there's a problem, that's when it's really dangerous. So this is what happened to Shaitan. He got this sickness within him, this arrogance, this pride. He started to think that he's something. And we have to realize in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala we're nothing. Right? So he started thinking he's something, and then when time came, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded everyone to do sajda, to prostrate to Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. Not the sajda that we do, not the worship type of sajda, but a different type of sajda. Like how, Yusuf alayhi salam's brothers and his parents were told to do sajda, or they fell into sajda in front of Yusuf alayhi salam. It's not the sajda of worship that we do. So when he was told to do this, he said, no, why? مَا مَنَعَكَ أَلَّا تَسْجُدَ إِذْ أَمَرْتُكَ قَالَ أَنَا خَيْرٌ مِّنْهُ. I'm better. Why should I do sajda? خَلَقْتَنِي مِن نَارٍ وَخَلَقْتَهُ مِن طِينٍ. That, he's just made out of mud and clay. I'm from fire. Why should I do sajda? This kibr is a very, very dangerous thing. And this is why I took out of all the lessons, out of all the things that we could look at the story, there's different things, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches about modesty, about, clothing, and how when the sin, or the mistake that was committed, because of that, their clothes came off and then they started looking for the leaves. There's so many lessons Mufassirin mentioned in that as well. And that's very relevant to our time because of modesty. But khair, I just thought that, we'll just talk about this sin because this is even more dangerous. This kibr, this thing grows in our heart. And then we start thinking, or we start feeling, slowly, that we're better than someone. Or we're at some kind of status. Or, I'm the imam of the masjid. These type of thoughts, these type of, poisons, they are very, very dangerous. Extremely dangerous. And it doesn't have to be a status. It could just be, and it's very common in our communities too. Like, sometimes we can even hear it from people's mouths. And many times children, they pick it up from their parents and then they say it as well. Right? How, sometimes Pakistanis are thinking they're better than Indians, or Indians are thinking they're better than Pakistanis. Or, Ajam is thinking they're better than Arab is thinking they're better than Ajam. All of that stuff, this is very dangerous stuff. Very, very dangerous. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us very clearly that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't look at color, He doesn't look at race. No one can be better than one another except according to their taqwa. That's it. The state of their heart, their connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's it. No one is better than anyone else. And that's the beauty of when you go to, you go to Makkah, you're in ihram, everyone's wearing white, everyone's bald, no one cares about anybody, everyone is just in their own, zone, and everyone realizes that we're all the same. And when the Imam says Allahu Akbar, everyone's silent and everyone stands and they pray. This is one beautiful thing. Right? And that's not just for there. That mindset has to come over here too. That we're not above anyone else. We're not better than anyone else. It doesn't matter if we have more than them or if we have less than them. It doesn't matter what color we are. It doesn't matter what kind of household we were born in. None of that matters. And on the day of Qiyamah, similarly, everyone will be raised. Everyone will be naked, right? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing that no one is going to be above anyone. And then on that day when the scales are brought out, that's when the reality will come. That's when the reality will be exposed that who is actually better than others. Right? So Shaitan fell into this trick, and this is where he went wrong. The hadith tell us, right? And this is very important for us, that we have to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for protection continuously. Because the hadith tell us that a person who has even a mustard seed worth of kibr in their heart, that person will not enter Jannah. What does that mean? That a person will have to go through transit. They have to go through Jahannam first. That dirt, that filth, that disease that's in the heart will have to be eradicated, burnt out, and only once a person is cleansed, then they can enter into Jannah. It doesn't mean they will never enter Jannah. It means that they have to be cleansed first. They have to go through that transit. And no one wants to go through that transit. No one wants to go through that transit. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from these sicknesses and these diseases of the heart. Ameen. Time is finished, but I want to share one other point or one other lesson. This surah, Surah Al-A'raf, where does it get its name from? Right? There's a passage that we're going to come probably around the 4th or 5th rak'ah in Taraweeh, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making mention of the people of Jannah, the people of A'raf, and the people of Jahannam. Right? In this passage, there are people who are known as Ashabul A'raf. Who are A'raf? Quickly we'll have to jump to Surah Hadid, which is in the 27th juz. Over there Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes mention about the people who are going to be crossing the bridge of Sirat. Right? Now there's people who are believers, they have iman, they're going to have light. There are people who are disbelievers, they're not going to have any light. Then there are going to be the third group. There's going to be a group that are called the munafiqeen. The munafiqeen who acted like believers, just like how they followed the believers in the world, on the day of Qiyamah, they will also try to follow the believers on the bridge. They're going to try to take advantage of the light of the believers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will erect a barrier, a wall, right? Surah lahu bab. In Surah Hadith he mentions the word sur. This is a gate, this is a big wall, a big barrier. On top of that, the top part of that gate is called A'raf. This is known as A'raf, right? Urf refers to something that is easily recognizable, easily seen. So the top part, which is easily seen, is going to be massive, right? This is known as A'raf. There will be people on top of this. There will be people on top of this gate. Who are these people, right? Long story short, they are the people, the hadith mentioned, that the people who, when their deeds are weighed, their good deeds and their bad deeds, they'll be equal, right? So because their good deeds and their bad deeds are equal, they didn't go into Jahannam, but they also didn't make it into Jannah, right, yet. The hadith, they indicate that through the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, these people of A'raf, they will be entered into Jannah eventually, inshaAllah. These people of A'raf, they will be standing on top and they will be seeing both sides, because they're on both sides, they're on the top, they can see the people of Jannah, they will see the people of Jahannam. They'll talk to the people of Jannah, they'll have their discussion. I wanted to mention that, but there's no time. Anyways, we'll just look at the last part. They'll have a discussion with the people of Jahannam. And the people of Jahannam, and they're going to see the discussion that's happening between the people of Jannah and Jahannam. Correction. These people of Jahannam, they're going to be in the fire. And they're going to be asking, قال أصحاب النار أصحاب الجنة أن أفيضوا علينا من الماء أو مما رزقكم الله. This is a very, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from the fire. This ayah just reminds you, and it reminds you of what the situation is going to be like. The people of Jahannam are going to be crying out. They're going to say, please, please, pour some, give us some water. Give us something to drink. أن أفيضوا علينا من الماء أو مما رزقكم الله, or whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed you with. قالوا, what will they say? إن الله حرمهما على الكافرين. That we can't. This is forbidden. This is haram. And then after the ayah mentioned, just like how you forgot us, just like how you forgot the deen, you forgot all your faith, you forgot everything in this world, and you were playing and you were worried about the worldly life. Similarly, we have forgotten you today. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is warning us of. I just wanted to share this thing about Surah A'raf because we're reading the surah and that's the name of the surah. So where does that word come from? Those are the people that will be on top and they are the ones who are sharing this discussion. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from those who enter Jannah without any reckoning. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from those who easily cross the bridge of Sirat and don't have to worry about any of these groups. We enter straight with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ameen wa akhiru da'wana. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.